Hello guys, in this video I'm going to talk about a specific exercise of Neville on mastering the attention control. This is a very important exercise, so I encourage you to watch it till the end. The control of attention is very crucial when it comes to getting into the wish fulfilled. Attention is not just casual awareness, it is the steering wheel of consciousness, the lens through which imagination focuses, and the channel through which creative power flows. Without control over attention, your mind drifts aimlessly. It reacts to the world rather than shaping it. If you truly want to transform your life from within, if you want to change your concept of yourself and reshape your destiny, you must learn to guide your attention with intention and discipline. Attention is one of the most important tools in manifestation, in controlling your directions of inner conversations and controlling the wish fulfilled. Now, this is a concrete exercise. It's not just theoretical. It's something you are to do every single night, especially during that period before falling into sleep. Because that's the time when you reach the hypnagogic state, the state when conscious softens and when the subconscious mind becomes most receptive. It is the bridge where inner impressions are planted most deeply. If attention is to be trained and turned inward, this is the ideal time. Now, here is how you do it. First, you start to recall your entire day, but in reverse order. You go event after event, but in reverse. You begin with the last thing you did, perhaps reading a book or turning off the lights. Then move backward to brushing your teeth, then back to your evening routine, dinner, conversations, tasks, and so on, until you reach the very first moment of the day, the instant you got out of bed that morning. This is not meant to be rushed or superficial. The goal is to mentally relive each event as vividly, as clearly as possible, but in reverse sequence. This direction matters. It forces the mind to pay close attention, to resist wandering, and to hold focus deliberately without falling into mechanical thought patterns. Let's say these are 3 events. I woke up, ate breakfast, played basketball, and went to sleep. In reverse, you go from last one. Went to sleep, played basketball, breakfast, and the others. Not forcefully, but just as you lived them. Just as living them. They are all still fresh because you experienced them already today. This exercise is very challenging. Especially these times when we have TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, things that are typically to weaken and destroy your attention. Most people have never consciously attempted to review their day in reverse, let alone in such detail. Your mind will want to skip around, go forward, or drift into unrelated thoughts, but the difficulty is the point. Just like going to a gym strengthens physical muscles by working against resistance, this exercise strengthens the inner faculty of attention by challenging its endurance and direction. Over time, this muscle becomes stronger, sharper, and more obedient to your will, especially if you exercise it to dwell and focus on the wish fulfilled. Now, here is one of the most important lines in Neville's work. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully and thereby change your future. Every experience, every relationship, every success or failure is an outpicturing of the self-concept you carry within yourself. But that concept cannot be changed casually or randomly. It requires focused, repeated, intentional direction of attention. You must be able to hold your mind firmly on a new idea of yourself, a version of you that already possesses what you desire, and you do so without being distracted by appearances or doubts. And without control of attention, this is impossible, but with it, transformation becomes inevitable. And one of the easiest ways to do this is with imagination plus control of attention. Or let's say the ability to hold your attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And there is some moments that after some time of exercising attention, you will be able without much effort to dwell on the wish fulfilled, which for this I'm going to talk on another video more in detail. So let's come back to this topic of attention control and imagination. Imagination is not just daydreaming, it is a creative power of God in man, a tool through which we create reality, impressing scenes and feelings upon the subconscious mind, which then externalize into life. But imagination is not autonomous, it follows where attention goes. If attention is scattered, undisciplined, or pulled by the senses, imagination creates mixed results, or nothing at all. Only when attention is stable, deep, and internally directed can imagination function at full power. Now, Neville says, if you persist night after night, sooner or later, you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self, that is, the real you. This is the reward of persisting. You get a new experience, your desire will come into reality, and you will discover infinite power within yourself. By performing this seemingly simple nightly exercise with consistency and sincerity, you will begin to awaken a deeper dimension of yourself. You will discover that beneath the personality, thoughts, and body lies a center of awareness and power. That is your true identity. This is your true I amness. This center is the creative divine self that doesn't just respond to life, but it generates life. And the more you awaken to this truth, the less you are pushed around by circumstances. Your life will not be dependent on circumstances, and you can live deliberately, more creatively, and in harmony with your desires. And the persistence, repeating it again and again, is really true, because I tried myself and it really worked, not because I tried very hard to prove it, but I really wanted to have my desire, and I enjoyed that feeling of acceptance, of the accomplished desire, and finally I got it, and it really happened naturally, like it would have happened anyway. But no, I was the cause of it. I was the reason that circumstances happened. Everything happened because I had an end in mind, and everything happened just so that end will come into reality. Now, attention is developed by repeated exercise or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so in course of time gives rise to a facility or faculty, which can then be put to higher uses. So this is how your attention becomes mastery. Repetition creates the habit. By repeating often, you create a habit, and that habit makes the act natural and effortless. And when it becomes effortless, it will be accepted into your subconscious mind very easy. And over time, that which was difficult becomes a developed power, a faculty. Trust me, this works. You just need to give yourself some minutes daily, at least 10 minutes a day. Just like you learn to ride a bike or play an instrument, you can train the mind to obey your will, to focus inward, and to sustain a vision of your desired reality. And once that faculty is strong, it becomes available for higher purposes like deep meditation, spiritual awakening, and creative manifestation. Now, Neville says when you attain control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. Which means from now on, you will shift from passive living to creative living and conscious living, where standing in shallow water means living on the surface, reacting to life, obeying the senses, limited by fear and facts. And launching into deep water means living boldly and spiritually, creating from the inner world, moving beyond limitations, and trusting your own consciousness as the source of your experience. And discipline and control of your attention will get you to live this kind of life as you really want to live, not as how circumstances and the outside world dictate it. Once you've trained attention and awakened your inner self, these are some benefits. You can live in the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. You walk with certainty even if your outer conditions say otherwise. Your faith in your imagination becomes more solid than any physical evidence. And from that inner conviction, the outer world must eventually conform. What we learn from this exercise and control of attention is to reclaim your attention from the outside circumstances, from the world, and redirect it inward where your real power lives. Build the capacity to assume and remain in the state of your fulfilled desire, and to awaken to your true self, the creator within you. I assure you guys that this really works, 100%. That's why I'm making these videos. If you feel confused, go and listen again to this video, and after that, give yourself a 10-minute break and try it yourself, and from today start living your life from within, not based on what the world gives you, and finally everything will conform as you are within. Okay guys, thank you so much for listening till the end. I hope you like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any of the new videos. Take care.